Welcome to day 96 of the New Way. I'll read Matthew 11:25 through 27. At that time Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this is what you were pleased to do. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Here, Matthew records a prayer prayed by Jesus. I don't think he was talking about little children or babies. I think he was talking about spiritually immature people. Then he explains that he is a servant to his Father. His Father tells him what to do and when to do it. God alone knew all about Jesus, just as God alone knows all about you. Then Jesus says that no one knows God except himself, and those that he chooses to reveal him. Some people use this verse to teach pre-election or predestination. That's a belief that certain people are selected to be followers of Jesus before they are even born, and others are selected to remain empty. This disagrees with many other verses that teach, quote, whosoever will, end quote, may come to God through Jesus. My belief is that Jesus is simply stating that no one can come to God except through belief in himself. Jesus is the only way to get to know God. I believe that Jesus gladly reveals the Father to anyone who chooses to follow him. Let's read Matthew 11:28 through 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. These are precious, often memorized verses. Who does the scripture say can come to Jesus? I believe it says all. And all who come will find spiritual rest, and sometimes physical rest too. What is a yoke? If you've never seen one, you should Google picture of a yoke and look at it. It is a heavy, usually wooden bar that is placed over the neck of an animal, like an ox or a horse or a mule. Then things can be attached to it for the animal to pull, such as wagons or plows, etc. The people of Jesus' day saw and used them all the time. Now, some yokes are double yokes, where you could place two animals side by side, and they would equally share the load. Many people interpret this passage to mean that Jesus is saying, come and share this yoke with me, and I'll help you pull the load. I can see that, but I don't believe that's what this passage is saying. I think Jesus is saying that he has a yoke for us to pull, and I believe he is contrasting that yoke with the one that the Pharisees and Sadducees, the religious leaders of that time, were putting on the people. Their yoke was filled with rules upon rules upon rules. Their yoke required the people to jump through many hoops to be right with God. But what does Jesus say about his yoke? Matthew 11:30 says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I have chosen him as my master and have gladly taken his yoke. All he asks me to do is to be obedient as he guides me and equips me. His yoke is not only easy, but when we invite him into our core, he removes all the accumulated sins. He removes the guilt and shame and pain that is associated with the old yoke of sin that is heavy and hard. His yoke is indeed light. In his service, Dale.